Hi, Radhika. So
Hi.
good to have you. Finally, we could get together for a very long-awaited candid discussion you and I wanted to have on a
Absolutely.
subject which is so close to your and my heart, and both of us are passionate about mental health and what we can do around it.
Yes,
So
absolutely. It's
just
wonderful. It's really nice. I think it's a common vision, and I think it's much required. And I think it's brilliant that we're finally able to get together with a common vision from different backgrounds and take this sort of revolution forward and be a part of this wonderful journey of mental health together.
Great. I'll just give you a brief about myself. I'm a public affairs professional, been in the industry for 36 years. It's really long, as I
Yes.
say it also. Um, though I've always handled big projects, and it's my journey has been very exciting. I've worked with the best companies, but my heart was always in social causes, sustainable projects, and I was greatly, influenced by my husband, who has a non-profit, and he has dedicated his whole life, 20 years now, to work for the underprivileged.
That's amazing.
The lockdown gave me an opportunity, because we were working from home, we couldn't go out, to just sit back and analyze what I really want to do. And then I discussed with him, and it was an obvious choice that I should work on mental health. And though I'm also working very passionately on gender equality, which comes very naturally to me, being in a space where corporate affairs, there are very few women, and also on empowerment. Since we work with the underprivileged women, I got to understand their mental issues there when I was working with the corporates, and with my current assignment, I have a lot of youngsters. So I felt that mental health is something which has not been spoken about, and it couldn't have been a better, appropriate timing for you and me to get together and take it forward. And now, if you could tell me about yourself.
Sure. So, hi everyone. And my name is Radhika Verma, and I am an emotional wellness coach. Well, I like to identify myself as an emotions navigator. I think my whole my whole pursuit and quest is to enable people to maybe realign and redefine their existing behavioral patterns. And mental health, emotional wellness has always been very, very close to my heart, because I do believe that we are emotion driven individuals and beings. And it is so imperative for us to patterns in the bud, or at least hack into our existing flow states, to be able to maybe deal and heal from situations that have been undealt with in the past, and maybe just realign our mind, body, and soul. So I am an emotional wellness coach, and it's not just something that I like to do as I would like to say a job. I think this is pretty much the purpose of my life.
Oh, lovely. So good to hear youngsters like you thinking, and I think you are just, the timing is just correct. Um,
Absolutely. So, Preeti, I would like to ask you, since you have worked in, this, corporate industry for so long, and you have had an interaction with all sorts of people, ages and stages. What does emotional wellness mean to you?
to put it simply, I think emotional health is more of a process for me than a goal. It isn't about always being in a good mood. cheerful. It's about equipping yourself to deal with the good, bad, everything what comes your way. And my experience has been that if I can give myself permission to unplug and then regroup again without, getting feeling guilty or feeling sad, I think I'm sorted. Just to back it up with my favorite example, some people, like when they travel, they like to carry, they like to travel light, and some people you'll find with a heavy bag. So I've experienced that life is all about, what would you like to carry with you and what would you like to leave behind. And when I talk to youngsters or my colleagues, I've always felt that most of us carry that extra baggage, which really is not needed.
Sure.
And we should carry light, because it's not easy. I mean, it's very, I'm saying it, itna aaram se, but it requires a little bit of mental exercise. So
Yes.
if we are able to carry light and be happy and regroup and unplug ourselves, I think that's emotional wellness for me.
That's really amazing that you say that, because I think the fact that you said unplug yourself from within. I think as an emotional wellness coach also, the one thing that we find very often as far as people are concerned is that the baggage that one carries, and mostly we tend to underestimate the level of the baggage that we carry. It could be an individual, it could be a past experience that we may not have dealt with, and it's actually these small things that become the triggers that launch us into those negative feeling thoughts and patterns and states of mind. Because as you very rightly said, guilt again is something that all of us practice at a very, very subconscious level. And when we talk about emotions, I think guilt and unplugging are two things that we absolutely have to consciously practice. And learning to let go, I think, is a very important part of emotional wellness. So,
I couldn't agree more, Radhika. And as I said, with a lot of time on my hand during lockdown, I've been reading, attending seminars and discussion globally and in India. And I'm recalling a report which I read recently by World Economic Forum. I think it's called, I've got it here, it's called the Global Happiness Survey, done in 2020. And I was more since I'm working in India, I was more focused what India has to say in the report. And to my surprising that, so they had two figures. They said we have gone down in the happiness quotient. As an expert, you will understand, down by 23% in 2020, and from 2019 further. So almost, if you take on average, 26 to 70%, which means that, earlier, more of us were happy. So a lot of people are sad, depressed, anxious, whatever. So in maybe in your language, the mental health deterioration is happening
this is
fast.
absolutely.
It could be COVID, it could be. So as since you are an expert, I'm very keen to know, and anybody who's listening to us, what do you think are the common myths about mental health? Because we don't understand. It's a word which is very misunderstood. So
Misunderstood and underestimated, if I may take the liberty to
yeah.
say so. I think, in my mind, the first and foremost myth that I find is that it is such a stigma to reach out. Also, because we feel that we'll be able to deal with it, or talk to a friend, or talk to somebody, or it's changing. I mean, I will not say that things are not changing, but I think the first stigma that we need to really, really deal with is the stigma of reaching out. And people need to absolutely understand that it is our personal responsibility almost. It's like giving nutrition to the body. You have to give nutrition to the mind very consciously, very cautiously, and very conscientiously. because there are so many assumptions around mental health, or reaching out for any kind of therapy or assistance, so to speak. And I think people have started using this word stress rather liberally.
Yeah.
Even when you go to the doctor and say, I have a headache or I have a migraine, I think the one common thing that everybody gets to hear is, oh, it must be some sort of stress. I think what people need to understand is that it is not self created. First of all, I don't believe that anyone wants to consciously feel bad in life. It is not self inflicted. So if there is somebody who actually, if you see a change of behavioral pattern in anyone, no matter how small or big it is, please do not underestimate the severity of the situation. So I think the myths being that we need to destigmatize, we need to find it normal to reach out. And it does not matter how dynamic you are professionally or personally. Mental health is for everybody. I think where people get a little confused is between mental illness and mental health. So I think, and I wish that people do not take their own and others' state of mind for granted, because at the end of the day, emotional health and mental wellness is all about being able to realign and really deal with and rewire yourself to enable better feelings from within. So even if you find that there is a commonality of a mood swing, there are frequent mood swings in somebody which you have never noticed before, please do not think that it is stress, or it is hormones, or so on and so forth, because at the end of the day, it is the subconscious stress that becomes a habit. And habits are formed over a period of time, and habits, good or bad, are what influence our entire being. So I think for me, Preeti, these are some of the very common myths, which I really wish that people can sort of break, the sort of glass ceiling, and really go out there. And if you feel like you need the help, please go and get the help.
Yeah, one related question is, I agree. Sometimes we don't know that this is happening to us. And another, if you could clarify, if you go to your family doctor, and it has happened to a friend of mine,
Right.
when is the time to go to a right therapist, a psychologist, which is more of clinical therapy, or
Right.
if it's just more to do with emotion and thoughts, then I think we should come to somebody like you, who is an emotional wellness
Cool.
expert,
Yeah.
because you will, I'm sure, will help me and other people to understand my own self. Sometimes we don't even understand what's happening, our thoughts, our emotions. We are so confused.
You're absolutely correct. And the fact of the matter is that sometimes just talking to somebody and getting an alternative perspective about certain subject matters can really help us to train the brain. And it doesn't matter that you have to go out there and really seek the therapy of a nature where you need to see a psychiatrist and psychologist. Of course, if you feel that the depression or the anxiety, or and all of us know, we know our common intrinsic behavior. We know
Yes.
if there is something that has suddenly started troubling us, and there is absolutely no harm. It could be at any given point of time that that sadness, that anxiety starts creeping in. So if I had to say, are there any wake up signs for mental health as such? I think it could be very common feelings of, say, sadness or depression that maybe last 2 weeks or more. If I were to put a timeline to it, frequent mood swings, excessive anger, excessive happiness, even. So sometimes it really doesn't matter that the behavioral pattern has to be negative. Sometimes if you feel like you have absolutely no control, and when you just cannot shut yourself off from that worry, if you're trying to distract yourself, there is irritability. All these are very common wake up signs. Feeling withdrawal symptoms from others, not wanting to really go out there, interact, socialize. If it exists for more than 2 weeks or so, we must talk to somebody. It is so important because, there is insomnia of many kinds. It could be suddenly you've started feeling that you can't sleep. Of course, all of us have those one-off days and all of
Yeah.
that, but it could be insomnia, or it could even be hypersomnia. So whether you're sleeping less or sleeping more, these are all signs of lack of sort of emotional wellness, if I may say so. So these are very common signs, and I think all of us, like I said, know ourselves better than anybody else does. So do not neglect it. Please go out there and talk to somebody. At least begin with just talking. Sometimes just talking your heart out does wonders.
Oh, definitely.
Yes. I would like to ask you something. What do you think are your common triggers when it comes to maybe dealing with your emotional health?
Uh, since I've been working and I've been in the corporate world and I started working very early, what I've noticed is, and I'm just thinking now, because nobody ever asked me, now that you're saying, I'm thinking, I think the one on the top, I'll say betrayal and cheating.
Okay.
And I've been lucky, it has never happened to me in my personal life, but it has happened a lot in my professional career. When I say betrayal and cheating is, when people have suddenly on my back, done something which has harmed me professionally. There has been cheating in terms of me not getting the credit of the work I have done, or a subordinate who has, you've groomed, suddenly turns back and, talks against you. And, as you climb up the ladder, and it happens a lot with women professionals. So, and I'll tell you also, how do I react? One is, I realize that I'm one person, I cannot recognize betrayal and cheating while it's happening. So, like I have a very late reaction and everything is done, the harm is done, then koi bal jalega, oh Preeti, this person has betrayed. And then I get into a shell.
Right.
I'm not, as a personality, I'm quite aggressive. But when somebody, I get that very, a very emotional kind of sadness,
So,
which I don't
so
want to share with anybody. I get into a shell and it takes me a long time to get out of it. Second, which is very strong, is I've always seen when do I get angry. Angry is when I've had these gender issues, and I would like to explain it a little detail. I
please.
have been brought up as a very independent person by my parents. I was never told that you're a girl, you have to follow norms. I got married to my best friend who empowered me so much. He says, no, you run the family, you take care of the finances, I'll run my NGO. So I come from that kind of background personally, and very empowered, and very looking forward to take charge. But the industry, lot of times in my career span, shut me down. And my trigger words are, behave like a man. Why can't you be like a man at work? I mean, the fact that, we
So
use,
sad.
yeah, very sad. The kind of work, what is this man and a woman? As a professional and a working, we are at par. So that makes me angry. And I've got into, and angry means really angry. I can't stop. I've got into arguments, sometimes at wrong forums,
Right.
which I realized later, but I just can't take it. Somebody comparing me or putting me down on because of my gender, that because I'm a woman, I can't, women can't do a certain job, and being a woman that I am, this is for, this job is divided on gender, and it's very common in the industry.
Right.
Uh, and so this balance was something I can't take, so empowered in my personal life and so much love and affection for the person, and then I being put down in my professional life. So that's the anger. And I do carry that anger even today, which I don't know. Probably I need to have a session with you. I will channelize it somewhere else, which I'm doing. But the anger has remained over the years. And third one is very recently I realized is I can't handle grief. I lost my grief. I lost my mother in April due to COVID, and I was very close to her because she was staying with me.
Right.
And when it happened, I was also down with COVID, so it didn't stuck me for very long. But as 2 3 months passed, I couldn't handle. I didn't know what's happening. I started feeling very lonely, and again I've stopped being between too many people. I don't like. Luckily, it's still. Offices is work from home and you're not meeting friends, but even on the phones. So that is something. So I'm a person, I realize I will not cry, or I will not talk about grief. So it is very deep inside me and I'm still struggling. So it has made me very quiet.
And it's first of all, again, so sorry about your mother. I know you were extremely close to her, and I know the kind of an emotional impact that it has had on you as an individual. And I think what also happens, and I'm so glad you pointed this out, is that when people are perceived as a strong personality, then they're almost not expected to feel a downward spiral as far as their emotions are concerned. And our external environment, of course, has a direct impact on our interiority as far as our internal being is concerned. So having said that, since mental health is truly a continuous process, it is not something that you can really do for a week and then you're fine, and then no, we have to work on our mental health, our mind muscle, every day diligently, just like we work on the muscle of our body. Nutritionals, the right kind of nutrition, food stops probably working on us like the way it does if we are so grief stricken, and we start losing weight for no reason, we start gaining weight for no reason. So I think if you feel that grief and anger and betrayal are the kind of triggers that launch the wrong what can I say, rockets of emotions, then one must deal with it very consciously, because ultimately anything that affects our state of mind, and like I say, we can never underestimate the power of emotions, so to speak. And whether it's any negative interference that is happening on a regular basis, or it is an interference that is happening once in a while, at the end of the day, all of us operate from a plethora of emotions, so many of them that are unattended to because we are so duty bound even. So I think it is very important to sort of stop, take a breather, sit back, and really analyze and intervene and interfere with those anxious or depressed emotions, to make sure that even if you don't heal immediately, at least you are able to put it in a context where you can control them. So,
Yeah.
because to have that sort of a thriving mental state requires a long time, and to have that sort of resilience to say that no, I am going to work on my mental state. And like I said, it is for everybody, and we have to go out there and we have to work on it very, very consciously.
No, I'm glad. And while I'm speaking to you and you asked me this question, I also realized how important it is to open up and talk about it. That I'm angry, or I'm depressed. People don't talk. I mean, we think no, these are the negative side of our personality. We don't show our true self, which is also a kind of a stress. And
Yeah.
I've seen it, especially with women. No, we have to be just perfect. We don't have to speak about. I mean, that's me. I mean, if I get angry, if I feel lonely or depressed, but that's me. That's part of my personality. I have to work on it. But we should speak up, because I think communication also heals by talking. When you're talking, you're healing from inside because you're taking out all your negative thoughts.
And I'm the biggest advocate of that, Preeti, as we've all heard this saying, it's okay not to be okay.
Yes, yes.
But how many of us actually go out there and embrace it? How many of us accept it? So I
Right.
think this lack of acceptance needs to go away. And, before we really get into mental health and all of that, we need to understand that it's not about being a man or woman. At the end of the day, we are human beings.
Yes.
We are made of emotions. So please align, rewire your mind and give yourself a little, don't be so harsh on yourself. This is another thing that I would like to point out for everybody, actually.
Yes.
Because sometimes we're a little harsh upon ourselves. Like, how can I be feeling this way? Or why am I feeling this way? Or, I'm duty bound and I have this, we get into this whole karma dharma mindset. And so I would urge, everyone listening to please don't be harsh on yourself, embrace, accept, and really please go and talk. Just talk. Like you said, communication, it's all about communication. Whether it is externally, internally, be very mindful of the stories that you're saying to yourself about yourself. And if you need to take that break from your external environment, please do that too. Because anything that is affecting the internal environment and your internal ecosystem is completely our responsibility. That's
Right.
that's what I believe.
Right.
Yes. Communication is key.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes.
Um,
So sorry, since we are talking about, gender equality and mental health and communication, and I know that all these subjects are so close to your heart, and this is what you've practically spent so much time and so many years doing this. I understand that there is an initiative that you have started, and I would like you to please tell everyone about it.
yeah, the initiative is called Daya Rani. It is named after the first names of my parents, and it is my like my tribute, my dedication to my parents and all the elders. It started with this thought that we have to start working on mental health of elders. It
Wow.
started this year, so we did a little project where we reached out to all the senior citizens above 60, especially couples or single elders who are staying alone,
Wow.
whose families are not there. And as a non-profit, my husband has this huge army of young volunteers. We use them because, contacting, going to the houses due to COVID were restricted, but we found way on phone and, keeping social distancing. How can we help?
Lovely.
And initially it was getting them a doctor appointment, getting them medicines. But one thing what I realized, and we are going to work on them is their Rani is, they said, हमें किसी से बात करना है. He says, so one couple told me, okay, we have 4 to 5 sentence conversation the whole day. आपने खाना खा लिया, आप चाय पियोगे, अब हम सो जाएं, दवाई खा ली, कह रहे हम दोनों अकेले हैं, what do we do? So we want to talk. So that has led us to make a module where we, when COVID eases, and it is easing now, thank God, we will have volunteers. And, I get so many turns in the NGO. We'll train them that you go and spend time with them, maybe 2 hours or 3 hours a week, or on weekends. We are flexible and just talk to them. And most of them have not spoken, so I'm finding I want to train youngsters to be good listeners, which is a quality which is not seen in the youngsters. They are the,
yes, I do understand,
mobile generation, internet generation, everything on their finger and palm, because you have to make, these elders need to be listened. So, we should allow them to talk. So it started with this taking a good shape. But then I realized that mental health awareness is a huge subject. And because of my exposure to a lot of global audience and seminars and the platforms I speak, it's not only in India, it's globally. But in India, we don't have people talking about it.
Yes.
So we need more Radhikas, more Pritis to have these conversation and talk. So their Rani will slowly become a platform. It will have different verticals under mental health. One definitely for the elders because that's the foundation it started. But I want to take it up to the universities and schools. And I have already had this conversation, and you have agreed to help where we want to emotionally and mentally recharge the youngsters
Yes.
and come out with modules. Because what happens is we have so much of bookish knowledge. We tell them, okay, you are an intern, we'll practically, but they don't know anything about themselves. So I take a lot of interviews of youngsters. So
Right.
anything which Google can answer, they know. But the moment I ask them questions, okay, just describe yourself in 3 words to me, or what is your emotional quotient, or tell me about yourself. Tell me what makes you happy and sad. They're quiet, and it's so sad. And very intelligent toppers.
No, absolutely. I can totally
I
understand.
said, oh my God, they're going to go out and they're going to get into relationships. And how can you get into a relationship and understand the other person if you don't understand yourself? There's been the most common and favorite exercise of every test. Please write your strength and weaknesses. I think
Weaknesses.
people like you, Radhika, I request you to redefine that,
Sure.
because people just write what we have learned over the years, but it has to be more emotional. What is my
Yes.
emotional strength?
EQ. I think we, as you very rightly said, are so habituated to being so bookish that everyone has focused so much on the IQ. I think now the importance of embracing the EQ, your emotional quotient, emotional intelligence, is so important. And I think since we are living in this new normal, we require our EQ a lot more.
Yeah.
I think the one good thing, if I may say so, has come about with the pandemic is that mental health has really got highlighted. And people have started talking about it. There's still a long way to go, to be perfectly honest with you. But at the end, we have to understand that if our emotions are not aligned, not dealt with, not looked into very cautiously and consciously, then that is going to have a ripple effect on many things, including our health. Our physical health is affected because of our mental health. So it's really a loop. There is no escape, and it is so important to embrace it and address it at the right time, because it is really those triggers that ultimately start causing the larger spectrum of anxiety, and even the physical triggers. Actually, I would like to add, if you feel that you've started getting palpitations, you get sweats for no reason, there is any sort of a restlessness within, please don't take it for granted, because these are all signs that something within is not okay. And it is okay not to be okay, but you have to go and get the help when you require it.
Yeah. I'm looking at the watch. I think we have the last 5 minutes left. So
Yes,
what
yes.
I think it will be a good idea if we share some incident or a case study which has inspired us, or which has led us to where we are today. So I think you start first and then I'll share.
Well, I think I have so many individuals and people that I have coached and continue to do that. Uh, Instead, there's not one particular. I think every person who gets attached with me is an almost like an inspiration to me. And I would say the one commonality that I have seen in people who have come is long term unaddressed issues, whether it was family, whether it was themselves. So for me, the magic begins when somebody gets attached and says, I need to change the state of my mind. So I think I am very almost blessed to be in the profession that I'm in. And I would urge for more people to please come and talk, heal yourself, deal from your situations, even if it is a positive emotion. uh, the one thing that I would like to highlight is that people feel that you only need to seek, assistance from a coach, and it's not even help. Help is such a negative term. Any sort of an assistance that you require mentally has to be negative. There is something wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you. We're all human, and I think it requires a lot of resilience and a lot of guts. So no matter who you are, what you are, when you want to seek the help, please go get the help. And there are people like myself, like Priti, we are all here for a cause. I don't like to call this, just one thing that we started. I think it's almost like a, revolution, a journey. And I'm so excited to be a part of you, I would say.
Yeah,
And
nice.
and kudos for their Rani, actually. And it's phenomenal, and I can't wait to see the magic that is put out there with this cause as far as mental health is concerned.
Yeah. I will quickly close with an experience I've had with Navratam Foundation, my husband's NGO. So we have 36 centers for underprivileged women where we give them free stitching and tailoring sessions. It's a 6 months course. So my husband asked me that, you should go and start talking to them, because most of them, it's difficult for the Master G to teach them because they don't open up, and they'll be more comfortable with the ladies. So that experience has been so amazing for me from the journey to understand them and talk. And I realized that financial independence. So when they do the course, we give them a certificate, and we also help them to get job work at home.
Sure.
With an exporter, with a tailor, and we give them. If we have the funds to set up a Salai machine
Wonderful.
and do normal blouse, fall, petticoat,
How wonderful.
yes. And one incident, never forget, it was a lady who was domestic violence, all kind of abuse at home, and didn't have money. She did the course, and she got the first 20 rupees. And she came to my house and she hugged me and she says, "You don't know what I feel. You've changed my life." And I'm feeling, I mean, she said it in her own language and words. She was feeling so empowered. So
Power.
what, and she was a changed personality. Her willpower increased. She could communicate. So I realized that sometimes if we want to help people emotionally and make them mentally powerful, we need to first make them stand on their feet and financially independent.
Most
So,
certain.
and so working, anybody who's following me on LinkedIn, I've always been saying individual social responsibility. Don't wait for the corporates to do social projects and under their CSR. Don't wait for the government. What
So
are you doing? And you have to start from your own house, from the people around you. And the amount of happiness you will get, it will increase your happiness quotient. You are
absolutely.
happy, they are happy, and if the women of the house is happy, the whole house is
The whole
happy.
house is happy. That's
We,
true.
over the years, I'm so grateful to my husband to expose me to this community of these lovely women. Then we started adult education, and it's a long story. We'll talk sometime. But what I'm saying is, financial independence is also one way of helping them mentally
Oh, certainly.
and making them empowered. Yeah,
Absolutely. One has to be an enabler, like we always talk about it.
yeah.
Don't be threatened. Be an enabler, whether it is mental, whether it is physical, whether it is emotional. Always be an enabler. And I think Navratan Foundation in itself is such a what can I say? It's an inspiration in itself with the kind of work that you do. And more power to you. And I think more empowerment to everybody listening as far as emotional health is concerned.
Yeah, and now it's time to say goodbye, but only for this session. And whoever is listening, I'll urge that Radhika and I, we are available with our NGO, Radhika as a counselor. Please reach out to us, and we want to create a community of like-minded people who want to come and volunteer and just help us, because it's a huge problem, and we were already late, and we need to just catch up very soon. And thank
Yes.
you, Radhika, and all of
Thank
you.
you, Preeti. This was absolutely wonderful. And all the best to everybody listening. This was great. And a lot of emotional wellness to everybody.
Thank you. Have a
Take
nice
care.